Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for round 5 of 5 here from beautiful Centerville, Ohio at Epic Loot Games. Check them out, epiclootgames.com. 46 players tonight.
46. That's a good number for an FNM.
That is a solid FNM. We are in the very final round. This is table 3. Tables 1 and 2 could ID into prizes. This is table 3. Derek Dyer is 3-0-1, an unintentional draw. Derek Rodriguez is 3-1, so they will have to play it out because the double loss knocks Derek into pity pack range.
And, not 100% sure what these guys are on. I've talked to Derek quite a bit, and I actually played against him a couple weeks ago, and I know he is on Mardu, Creatureless Mardu. We'll go ahead and just call
Mardu
it Creatureless.
Control, kind of. Thoughtseize should be pretty good against that.
He's running a lot of Planeswalkers. I know he's running the draw 2, lose 2, scry 2.
Read the Bones.
Read the Bones, yes. He's playing Read the Bones. So he's got a little bit of a way to shape his hand and kind of, once he gets that going on turn 3, he can kind of set up his turn 4 and turn 5 plays.
Looks like we saw 2 Sarkhan, a Lightning Strike, and we lost the Sarkhan to the Thoughtseize. I want to remind everybody that's watching, we are Dayton Magic Club. I'm Ryan Johnson in the booth with Mr.
Robert Holt.
And we hope you guys are enjoying the broadcast. We're having a pretty good time up here in the booth. Always a good time here at Epic Loot.
Always a good time in the booth.
Absolutely.
The standard metagame is shaping up to be an interesting one.
I agree. We've seen a lot of cool stuff tonight.
Yes, we have. Whip of Erebos doing some serious work.
We did, in fact, see that. If you didn't catch that, I would definitely check it out when our archives go live, because that was a really sweet one. That is a, what's it called? Help me out, Jacob. Jacob, by the way, a Bloodsoak champion. Jacob Ross, by the way, we haven't really called him out at all tonight. He is our operator tonight, as most nights. He is running the rig that keeps this broadcast live. He is updating our life totals. He's the one telling us when we can't quite make out what one of these new cards is. So we want to thank him. Couldn't do it without him.
Now, I know for a fact, Derek, even though we see a Sarkhan in the bin there, that he's got 3 additional ones in his deck. So he's running a full boat on Sarkhan. And as you said earlier, he's actually running a 5th Sarkhan.
Yep. And Zergo Helm Smasher.
That is Derek's 5th Sarkhan.
That is a Mardu Charm being used as the instant speed duress. So we have Mardu aggro, or a more aggro build, versus the control build.
And this is probably the mode on Mardu Charm that you're not going to see as often as the 4 damage to a creature or making 2/1/1 first striking token.
I agree.
So,
but nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely put to good use here against a Planeswalker / control deck.
Now, Derek's, it's interesting, this Mardu control concept, because really in most of the control decks that people have been experimenting with, and I know I've been experimenting with them a little bit myself, the blue is like the worst color.
Yeah. You're using blue basically dig through time.
Yeah.
And like, maybe Treasure Cruise if you want to go that route.
I mean, some of the counter spells out of the board are okay, and like Dissolve is like okay, but it's nothing really exciting if everyone's just playing to the board. If everyone's just playing creatures, you're not having to fight on the stack at all. Then the things that blue's traditionally good at aren't necessary, and blue's not very good at winning these on-board fights.
And if you can get some of the additional, or some of the similar card advantage out of Read the Bones that you can dig through time, then why do you need blue?
Yep.
So maybe
just all the best 3 removal spell colors. So we saw this is a Brimaz. Haven't seen him tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
Underrepresented to the Pro Tour as well. No copies in the top 8.
Yeah, Brimaz has been a little underrepresented in the format lately, and you gotta wonder, some of the decks that could run Brimaz might just go Mantis Rider or Rabble Master instead. And,
absolutely.
It presents a little bit more of a threat without giving your opponent much time to respond.
Absolutely, just a little bit faster, I think, is the appeal. That was a Crackling Doom, a card we've seen do some work under camera, taking out Brimaz. Crackling Doom, a cool Magic card.
Very cool. Very cool.
But Bloodsoak champion, as we've seen before tonight, go in the distance here. Of course, Derek could have an utter end for it somewhere down the road, or something like that. There's another
Mardu
champion.
v. Mardu.
Yep. Bloodsoak
And,
Champion versus Zergo Helm Smasher.
yeah, we got the on the right with Derek's deck. We got a little bit more of an aggressive Mardu. Yeah, I don't know how aggressive he's going, but seeing Bloodsoak Champion into Brimaz,
Yep.
he's playing definitely a lower curve than Derek's 5 Sarkin.
Yep.
Deck with him. I believe he's running Elspeth as well.
I think so as well. Yeah.
So definitely seeing the range that Mardu has.
Yeah, for
in
sure.
Both of these players.
And he has had enough. Double lightning strike.
You know, as much as I like that play there, I know for a fact that Derek is running Anger of the Gods main, and I'm wondering if it would have been
Jumped the gun a little early, maybe.
You know, he's a little bit under some pressure. 4 damage a turn is a lot to take.
You know, he wants to, like, another. If you're worried about Derek Rodriguez there playing potentially Stoke the Flames or
yeah, that's a
something like
possibility.
that, just
but,
trying to, you know.
If I'm not mistaken, though, I believe Derek has a Mardu Charm in hand.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe just making a couple tokens and you know, blocking those Bloodsoak Champions and buying yourself another turn to potentially
For example,
see Anger of the Gods.
Yeah. Rabblemaster could be dangerous here if Derek maybe overspent on his removal spells.
Yeah, and as we can see, Derek has an additional 2 lands floating, whereas he goes to swing with that Rabblemaster token as he enters combat. If he gets that far, he can bring a champion back from his graveyard.
He will not get that far.
He will not get that far.
Now, something that interests me is Derek Rodriguez playing perhaps one of the Mardu token strategies we've seen float around. I mean, Brimaz, Rabblemaster, these are token-producing creatures.
I guarantee you he's going all in on Butcher of the Horde if we've seen Brimaz and Rabblemaster. Yeah. There's got to be a playset, at least 3, I would say, Butchers in this list from Derek Rodriguez. I don't think there's any trouble that you're going to with running Rabblemaster, Brimaz, and Bloodsoak Champion. Yeah. Butcher's just a freebie at that point.
Derek appears to be out of gas at the moment. No play this turn. Now, that could mean, he could very much have a ton of removal spells.
My guess from Derek Rodriguez is maybe he's going to flash in a couple tokens off the Mardu Charm and bring back his 2 champions.
Yeah, that seems like a strong play.
And if he's on the token strategy, you might actually see a Raise the Alarm here. No. Looks like we're just going to go back to the draw step. And I'm guessing he's got, 3 cards in hand? What he's shuffling?
No, one of them was definitely a land.
It's interesting the way he's got his land stacked up over there. It kind of looks like an exile stack or an additional graveyard sitting over there off to the left. But it's an interesting way to stack the lands up.
So Derek Dyer under no pressure here.
And he's
going for Elspeth.
Never a bad play. We're probably going to see a Hero's Downfall from Derek at this point.
Sure.
Or an Utter End. Either one. I would guess Hero's Downfall maybe the double black might hurt with Brimaz in the deck, so it might be Utter End.
You certainly can't play around either of those cards, so no reason not to just jam it over here.
He is going off the top of the deck there. So it looks like we're probably going to see another land drop from him.
There's the Downfall. And that's it. No Bile-Blight or anything to clean up the tokens.
No, we still have 2 Bloodsoak Champions in the graveyard, which could come back and do some work later on in the game.
Sure.
Given the fact that Derek Dyer's at 9 life.
Absolutely.
Those Bloodsoak Champions are just a couple swings away from actually lethal if he can clean up those Elspeth tokens.
Going down to 7.
Now that's actually he's got a 2-turn clock if he can get those Bloodsoak Champions back in play.
Absolutely.
So.
And Derek Dyer certainly has to respect the possibility of a hasty Butcher off the top. Scryland didn't like what we see.
I want to see a Mardu Charm or Raise the Alarm from Derek Rodriguez here. I want to see those Bloodsoak Champions come back in. Just present the threat.
Have we ever actually seen tonight a Bloodsoak Champion get raided back into play? I don't think we have.
No, I think we've had a couple options or a couple possibilities for it. I just didn't think it came up.
Yeah.
So we haven't gotten to see the interaction between Bloodsoak Champion and Butcher at this point.
There's a Rabblemaster.
And if we get the Rabblemaster token and into combat, we are going to see a Bloodsoak Champion potentially come back into play.
Derek doing a really good job, or Derek Dyer doing a really good job of containing.
6 life, though. I'd be a little wary of being at 6 life against a Mardu deck, being able to present a Lightning Strike and Stoke the Flames to seal the deal.
Absolutely. Very much so.
It's potential, though, that Derek just drops a Sorin on his next turn and gets 6 more life out of those tokens.
And gets, well, I would say, pretty comfortably out of range.
Yeah. Being at 12, it's going to be hard for Derek Rodriguez to put up lethal at 12 life. Given the board state, that is.
Yes.
So.
We get in for 3.
I'm still just hoping we see an instant speed token generator here, and then maybe a wingmate rock or a couple Bloodsoak champions come back. So there's the Bioblight.
Well, that's going to resolve. No counter spells in this deck. So Derek's first attempt at closing the game out has been shut down with a Hero's Downfall and a Bioblight.
Derek Dyer at 6 and Derek Rodriguez at 10. Yep. Derek Rodriguez still in decent shape here.
Absolutely.
Just need to find a way to attack.
There's a Butcher of the Horde. No tokens to give it haste.
No tokens to give it haste, but if it survives one turn, he's going to have some serious pressure to apply to Derek
absolutely.
Dyer.
If he can attack with it and get those tokens back, we start getting a life-linking Butcher of the Horde every turn, and that could be...
Oh, he could do lifelink and vigilance, I believe, out of... Well, not at the point of attacking.
No, but no, but not going to get the opportunity.
Nope. Derek Dyer looking through his graveyard.
That's got to mean only a handful of things, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's running Murderous Cuts. Oh, no, empty the pits. There we go. So he counted his graveyard to look to see how many cards he can delve and how many zombie tokens he can make off Empty the Pits. And Derek Rodriguez might be second-guessing his option to use Bioblight as soon as he did.
Sure.
So, now granted, he didn't have a whole lot of other options facing down 3 Sorin tokens, aside from maybe waiting a turn or 2. But now he's facing down, it looks like 6 Empty the Pits tokens, and followed it up with another Bioblight.
Yep.
So... Derek Rodriguez doing a good job of keeping Derek Dyer off of his...
Absolutely. That's 2 victory conditions we've seen from Derek Dyer's control deck.
And we're probably not going to see another Empty the Pits.
No, I believe I've spoken to him earlier tonight, and he said he was playing 1.
There's another Bloodsoak champion, which is actually a good deal for Derek Rodriguez. It gives him the ability to bring back the other 2.
Absolutely, and that is really dangerous to Derek Dyer, who is at 6 life.
Yes.
That's a magic number.
So, but Bloodsoak Champion, a great magic card. You know, it's got all the same capabilities of Gravecrawler without having the reliability of being in relying on tribal synergy.
Absolutely.
You just the only thing you have to do is be able to get a creature to its attack step, and you get that raid trigger.
Which Derek Dyer's done a good job of preventing.
He has
so
done a great
far.
job. Done a great job.
Utter End would be a pretty nice one to have. Were you Derek Dyer right now? But
Derek Dyer looks like he's got about 2 cards left in his hand.
One of them is what appears
Mountain?
to be maybe the last Hero's Downfall.
A little bit hard to tell with the way he's
shuffling
shuffling.
his hands. Yeah.
And Derek Rodriguez looks like he has 3 cards left in his hand, all face down.
All right, so we are going to get back our other 2 Bloodsoak champions. No.
Yeah, it looks like he's doing it after combat, obviously.
Yep.
So now Derek Dyer facing down 3 Bloodsoak champions, potentially Anger of the Gods, and that's going to clean up the Bloodsoak champions
and
permanently.
That's the end of those 3 Bloodsoak champions. That was a...
well timed.
Yes.
Well timed. And he's casting a card I'm not 100% familiar with at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's Liliana the Veil, or Liliana Vess. It's a...
Promo Lily. Okay.
And again, like we were saying earlier, she's not the flashiest planeswalker around, but right now, very good.
Yeah, we've seen her pop up a few times tonight, and you know, we saw it last round where she hit the board, and essentially the only thing she did was tutor up End Hostilities, which was you know, pretty good. It still didn't get there, but it was still pretty good.
Yeah.
And we saw her a little bit earlier tonight doing a similar thing.
So if you're Derek Dyer here, what card are you searching for on an empty board? Are you looking for Elspeth, or are you looking for Sarkhan?
I would say if I'm Derek Dyer, I'm probably just going to go Elspeth. I think if you go Sarkhan, you open yourself up to, you know, an Utter End, essentially.
It's a faster clock.
It's putting all your eggs in one basket.
I agree.
Yeah, if you go with Elspeth, you make 3 tokens. He could have another Bioblight. Great, the tokens are gone, but I still have an Elspeth. So
of course, if Derek Rodriguez doesn't have an answer to this Liliana Vess, it's both. You know, you can get 2 victory conditions with it, and that'll probably be enough to put this game away with as resource light as both players are.
Thoughtseize not going to do a whole lot of work there. The card that Derek cares about is on top of his library.
Yep, absolutely.
So let's see what Derek got here. I'm
thinking Elspeth.
I'm thinking Elspeth, yeah, or maybe
Sorin,
or maybe Sarkhan number 5.
Yeah, maybe Zurgo.
Maybe Zurgo. Maybe he may just
Zurgo is a very fast clock here.
Let's just go ahead and clean the game up. So.
Yep. Nope,
Elspeth.
Elspeth. That's the safest bet for sure.
Yep.
I like that as the first target, and then Liliana can always get you a backup.
Now Zergo here would be pretty good.
I agree.
Pumping your
Soren
tokens.
would be good here to pump the tokens.
Soren would be great. Soren would be fantastic.
I like Soren a lot here, actually. It synergizes well with Elspeth while also being a good backup if he has an answer to Elspeth.
Or do you just go get another Elspeth?
Yeah.
Like, is Elspeth good enough to just go grab a second one
I think
here?
that's defensible.
Play the first one out, and if the first one bites the dust for some reason, just go grab another one.
Like, can you answer 3 Elspeths this game? Like, not many decks can. We've already seen 2 Bile Blights go
Ultimate
down.
1 Elspeth, cast a second one.
Yep. So that is certainly an option as well. So, Crackling Doom? Yep. Not getting much better. I can see pulling.
Yeah, at that point, Crackling Doom's
Well,
kind of...
it's a 2 damage burn spell.
Yeah, you got Derek down to 2, and all Derek Rodriguez has to do is top deck a burn spell.
Which we might see here. Crackling Doom
Crackling
number
Doom
2.
For the win.
For
Wow.
the win.
Wow, came back from his on his heels there
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
the Elspeth, the Liliana and the Elspeth, potentially getting another Elspeth, and Derek just kind of maybe needed to pull something to pull himself out of that life total range he was in. And
I agree.
I'm not sure that he has anything that he could have gotten initially. Pulling a Soren with the second Liliana Vest activation would have definitely
Very
done it.
tempting, yeah.
Yeah.
So he was definitely in range. Definitely I knew he was at a dangerous life total.
So I believe we just saw double Crackling Doom for the win.
Yep, we actually did in fact see that. And a ton of Bile Blights.
Yeah.
So you're Derek Dyer, looking at what happened that game. You're playing against an opponent with a ton of burn spells, ton of removal.
A lot of good, cheap creatures. I mean, we saw Bloodsoaked Champion, we saw Brimaz, we saw Rabblemaster, and we saw Butcher. So he's carving out into Butcher, and he's got a very good possibility of just going 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
Actually, I'm not sure what the 2 drop in that case would be, but regardless, he's got a good curve on Derek Rodriguez's side of the table, and Derek Dyer is just kind of playing catch up at that point.
Agreed.
He's got to keep his removal spells flowing. He's got to keep the disruption flowing, and he's got to draw some sweepers. And actually, that's a good position for Derek Rodriguez to be in. Running Brimaz in this case gets around Derek Dyer's main sweeper.
Anger the Gods, absolutely. So. We do want to thank all of you for watching. We have 22 concurrent viewers right now, which we really like to see. We do encourage you to keep checking us out. We will be doing this about every week, every 2 weeks, pretty consistently, and we're always striving to improve.
And for those of you that just tuned in, this is Robert Holt and
I'm Ryan Johnson, Dayton Magic Club.
Dayton Magic Club. We're on round 5 of 5 here at a 46-player FNM at Epic Loot in Centerville, Ohio.
So, Derek, they're both boarding quite a few cards.
Yeah, and so if you're Derek Dyer, you got to know at this point that you're the control player in this matchup.
Absolutely.
Both players are Mardu. Derek Rodriguez is definitely on the more aggressive side of it. So Derek Dyer, as a control player, what do you think he's boarding in here? I'm thinking in hostilities, maxed out.
Maxing out the sweepers. If you're not playing 4 Anger of the Gods in the main and you have more Angers of the God, you're definitely you're boarding up as many as you can get. Bloodsoaked Champion was a real headache that game. Your Planeswalkers aren't safe necessarily.
No, not from Hero's Downfall.
You don't have counter magic to protect them like a traditional blue-based control deck would. Could wait till they have 8-9 mana.
He's probably going to bring in, or he probably has access to, I would say, anywhere between 2 and potentially all the way up to 4. Read the Bones. I think 4 would probably be a little heavy.
Yeah.
And as good a card as that is, it's still not going to help with the aggressive starts that Derek Rodriguez can get given the 2 mana or the 2 life loss.
Do you think that Derek possibly has Nyx Fleece Ram in his board? And if he let's say if he did, would you bring it in here?
See, that's the problem with running a creatureless deck like this is that, so on one hand you have, okay, I bring in Nyx Fleece Ram, but now it's a lightning rod for any removal my opponent has.
Sure.
I don't bring in Nyx Fleece Ram, and I keep my opponent's removal spells from doing anything relevant. Now, granted, Derek Rodriguez's deck is going to be built to have his removal spells consisting of Burn,
Yep.
Mardu Charm,
Yep.
and Utterance Hero's Downfalls,
which are already good.
Yeah, so those cards don't really care if Derek has creatures. They're going to shoot Planeswalkers, and Mardu Charm can make some tokens.
So I would say, if I were Derek Dyer, the card would look attractive if I had access to it, because if it gets Heroes Downfall, then my Elspeth isn't getting Heroes Downfall.
Right.
And you're forcing your opponent to use a 3-mana removal spell to kill a 2-mana creature. So trading your turn 2 for their turn 3 is never a bad tempo play.
I've seen this out of Derek's deck before, just given some familiarity I have with his list. I actually think we're going to see Circle of Flame.
I'd love to see Circle of Flame.
It shuts down Rabblemaster tokens, it shuts down Bremoth tokens, and it just puts a complete halt to anything Bloodsoaked Champion can do relevant.
I like that quite a bit here.
And he can actually catch Derek Rodriguez off guard if Derek Rodriguez swings into Circle of Flame with Bremoth, and then Lightning Strike or Bioblight to Bremoth.
Absolutely.
So
I think that's going to be a very powerful card.
I think that's what we're going to see from Derek Dyer as a sideboard strategy.
His preferred anti.
Now the one thing we need to see from Derek is some sort of life gain.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be crucial this final or this game.
Absolutely, and that's where I think that Nyxfloose Ram is appealing. Maybe not necessarily the most powerful card, but certainly good at buying time.
If not dealt with early,
these nickel and dime decks that are full of 2 and 3 drops, or 2 and 3 power creatures, I should say.
Now, do you think Derek Rodriguez probably sided out his Crackling Dooms at this point?
I would.
Yeah. They're good for 2 damage.
You can't be sure that he doesn't have some sort of creature in here, but we didn't see any indication that Derek Dyer was playing any of the traditional Mardu creatures.
Right. Now, Crackling Doom does do a good job of taking care of Sarkhan, even though we didn't see Sark. Well, we actually saw it get Thoughtseized out in the first game. So he might have left Crackling Doom in there just to deal with Sarkhan. But
that's possible.
Again, he's got additional options to take care of Sarkhan.
Derek Dyer have any Last Breaths?
Potentially.
Last Breath would be a good one here, too, I think. It answers Rabblemaster and Bloodsoaked Champion very effectively.
So we see a turn 1 Despise, and Despise is looking at a Sorin, a Sarkhan, and then 3 cards he can't get, being a Temple of Malice, Chaos of Quellos, and Hero's Downfall.
We're taking the Sorin. I like that.
Yeah,
Sorin
it
comes down earlier,
yeah,
and it potentially gains life,
yeah,
both of which you don't want to see.
Right. You can deal with Sarkhan a little bit later, and even if Sarkhan does hit the board, it's probably not as devastating if you're the aggro deck, just because you want to hit their life total harder.
And also, 1 Hero's Downfall answers. Yeah, there we go. There's a Nyxfloose Ram. I like that quite a bit here.
The sheep is out.
1 Hero's Downfall answers Sarkhan.
Yep.
Sorin leaves behind a 2/2. They can be disruptive to your game plan. So.
Yep.
Nyxfloose Ram is going to do its job here. Every turn it sticks around is just 1 more point of damage. I mean, if Derek had gained 1 life that last game, I think he would have won it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Derek was definitely in a good position with that Elspeth and Liliana the Vest to set up for the final win. He just happened to be a 4 life and got double Crackling Doom.
Yep. So, 1 point of life.
I got a feeling that Derek's probably going to be able to outpace Derek Rodriguez at this game, just because he's got the Nyxfloose Ram, he's playing the control deck, and we haven't seen anything. We haven't seen a relevant threat come out from Derek Rodriguez even on turn 3.
That can be the danger when you're sideboarding, when you're the aggro player, is you can overboard and disrupt. I'm not saying he did necessarily, but the temptation can be there to bring in more answers and then disrupt your amount of threats that you have. And your answers you're never going to be able to out-control the deck playing Anger the Gods and Elspeth.
4 lands, probably going to see a Butcher. And I would be very surprised if Derek Dyer did not have an immediate answer to Butcher.
Well, actually, we knew there was a Hero's Downfall.
That's true, yes.
Derek Rodriguez ran that out into that Hero's Downfall. You can't play around Hero's Downfall. Sometimes you just have to jam into it and then deploy another threat.
Yeah, and there was
Chandra, which we did not know necessarily that he had access to.
Aside from Read the Bones, that's going to be another constant source of card advantage for Derek Dyer.
And a really good way to keep Bloodsoaked Champions under control.
Yep.
They can't attack through the Nyxfloose Ram, and you can keep them under control so they can't swarm around it.
Yep.
I like Chandra quite a bit. They can't block, not super relevant, but
if we could just find a way to give that sheep, +1/+0,
just a little bit,
just enough to start chipping away at his life total.
Sorin.
Yeah, Sorin would do a good job on this on the Nyxfloose Ram. Start getting some damage in there.
Yeah, this game is rapidly getting out of reach for Derek Rodriguez if he doesn't start deploying some threats and very soon.
I mean, if his only option in the first 4 turns of the game was to run a Butcher straight into a Hero's Downfall that he knew about. I got to say that he's not packing a whole lot of heat in his hand.
Nope. Elspeth, or not Elspeth, Chandra reveals a Hero's Downfall, which has no target, so it would just be exiled, which is not a great card. You don't necessarily want to see that card get thrown away like that, but...
You know, if Derek Rodriguez had anything relevant on the board, that would have been a great flip from Chandra. But in this case, you know, Derek doesn't have anything. You know, there's worse problems to have.
Yes.
There's worse problems to have.
So now we have Sarkin. He is going to serve in.
And I would imagine he's going to get immediately met with, no. We're going to go ahead.
I thought I saw Hero's Downfall on Derek.
I thought I did too, and he might have missed the trigger. He might have just let it, or the activation. He might have just let the activation happen and forgot about doing it in response. So
yeah, you can't let it get into the combat phase. Yeah. Jacob, thank you, but we know that it's indestructible. We're saying that
there's time to respond.
But
that's correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hero's Downfall in response to the
ability.
Yep. Okay.
Brimaz, a little outclassed.
Yeah, Brimaz, for the price tag that card carries, does not look too good in this situation. I love the card in general.
I do too, but
it hasn't found a home yet.
I don't know that it stacks up particularly well in this format where all the 4-drops outclass it.
Mm-hmm.
And
it cannot attack into Cursor or Crucifix profitably. Yeah. You get the token in there, but that's it.
That's
the 1/1 token.
So man, I just don't know. It's a very good Magic card. It just might be kind of in one of those weird limbo states that can occasionally happen with very good Magic cards.
It might not actually ever find a home either. You know, it's not found a home in Legacy. It shows up as a onesie twosie occasionally in Death and Taxes, and it's not really done anything in Modern. So I would imagine that price tag's going to drop eventually.
Yeah, you just feel like it should almost have to. Although there's that black-white tokens deck in Modern that I like quite a bit, that you can get some Brimazes in there.
Yeah. The Brimaz is great on the curve and black-white tokens.
Yeah, and Hero, a Blade Hold. That's a Sorin. I imagine we'll probably be casting the Sorin.
Yeah, I don't see him not casting Sorin. His opponent's tapped out, and he's got the mana to cast a Sorin and just... Now, I would probably just go ahead. I don't even know if I'd make a vampire. Well, I would. Yeah, I'd make a vampire here.
Now, it's worth pointing out the lifelink lasts until the beginning of your next turn, which means he could actually put a token on the sheep and give it lifelink, which would make attacking into it pretty miserable.
Yeah, that'd be a 1/5 sheep.
Yeah.
And Brimaz is not getting through that. And actually, the Brimaz token would just straight up die.
Yeah.
In this case, and Sorin would live through a Brimaz attack. So. Derek's life total is not really in jeopardy, so I think I would, if I was playing Sorin here, I'd probably get a little bit more aggressive with it. You know, go ahead and get the creature on the board.
Absolutely.
Force the removal spell in the Nyx Fleece Ram, and that forces the Brimaz into attacking into the 2/2 vampire. Yep. You know, Derek hasn't lost much at that point. So.
He did plus though.
Yeah.
So he
took I think both of them are very good plays.
Yeah, I agree. So it looks pretty good if you're Derek Dyer here.
Yes.
This is kind of what you want to do. You just assemble the soft lock of a bunch of synergistic planeswalkers. Derek Rodriguez needs, more Heroes Downfalls would not be bad. Is that a bestow? It is. We are bestowing the Herald Torment, which is pretty good here. You can assassinate the planeswalker of your choice.
I think I would go with Sorin here.
Yeah.
You know, Chandra does draw you some cards, but Chandra's not making 2/2 flying vampire
tokens. Really can't beat Sorin if he's active for too many more turns. So now Derek needs a removal spell, and then he's still going to mop up the 3/3 flyer that's left behind.
Right.
He gets over a 26 life.
I like Herald Torment here.
I do.
I really like what it did.
There's a ton of 3-drops in Derek Rodriguez's deck, though. We've seen Rabblemaster, Herald, and Brimaz.
So we're stretching the mana base a little thin there with double white, double black, and single red.
Yep.
But, you know, it hasn't seemed to be a problem so far.
I agree. That's a Chandra 0. Reveals Magma Jet. Or Magma Spray, I'm sorry. Not super good here.
No, depending on what Derek has in his hand, it might not even be relevant at all.
Yeah.
What's the plus off of Herald Torment on the bestow?
3/3.
So it's 3. Okay.
Yeah, they always give their power and toughness.
Okay. So that is a pretty big Brim loss.
Yeah.
So that could potentially be actually it is going to be a problem for Derek. He's got to find a way to deal with that effectively.
Yep.
Before it gets out of hand. I think an Utter End would actually do a pretty good job.
Utter End would be pretty good.
It would take care of the bestow creature, leaving Bremaz back to having to fight through a ram.
Yeah, it's a Liliana on a Derek Rodriguez there. Crackling Doom.
Crackling Doom deals with half the problem.
Yep.
It doesn't deal with the flying half the problem, which is going to be an issue for Derek's Planeswalkers.
It is, agreed.
So Utter End would have definitely been a little bit better in that situation, taking care of the underlying problem being the flying.
Yeah. Oh, of course, End Hostilities would have been uniquely good there, as it destroys the creature and all permanents attached to it.
Yeah, that's a good thing to point out. End Hostilities has a little added bonus.
Yep.
Even though it's a 5-mana Wrath.
Yep. But it's not.
Occasionally, that 5th mana
buys you something.
Could be worth it.
Now, Liliana could also be quite a problem with tutoring out some additional threats.
Yeah. So what do you think Derek Rodriguez has in his deck that he would be tutoring up at this point? Do you think he's going to find something to deal with Chandra, or do you think he just says, I'm not too concerned about Chandra, I just want to get some more guys on the board? I would think with Derek Dyer being at 27...
Do you really feel like you have to get the Planeswalker off?
He's got to deal with Derek's underlying source of card advantage.
Yeah, I agree. Butcher of the Horde I don't hate as a hasty way to get Chandra off the table.
Well, yeah, the haste could be a problem, though, because I don't think he wants to get rid of that Herald Torment.
No, that's true. That's fair. Although it's worth pointing out that currently he's losing a life every turn, and Derek Dyer is gaining one every turn, which is unsustainable.
Very relevant. 2-point life.
And Chandra can start going to the face if he has to.
Does he have a Bloodsoaked Champion in his graveyard?
No, they all got.
Is that? I think that was last game. Is that top card a Bloodsoaked Champion?
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay. No.
There's a Hero's Downfall for he decides to go after the Liliana, which I agree with. Liliana, if you get to downtick again, is going to find something better than that Herald Torment for sure.
Yes, that's very true.
Reminder die on top of the library.
Herald Torment on Herald Torment.
Yeah. Got a Whip of Erebos?
I believe it's a Whip of Erebos.
That's going to be a challenge. Other End is
Whip it.
whipping out a Butcher.
Butcher's going to get some. Butcher's going to get in there for 5. This actually brings this game a little closer in range for Derek Rodriguez. Now.
Absolutely. Now, the Butcher killed Chandra, which we talked about. Something you just have to do at this point. You're too far behind.
Yeah, you can't allow Derek to keep having that.
If Derek was at
that extra
10,
card every turn,
that's one thing. But at 27,
yeah,
you're just not going to end the game fast enough.
And how many cards do we think Derek has in his hand there? It looks like